Hello and welcome to this tutorial. My name is Sahand Malek, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can use CAM Assist for the first time. So I have a part open in NX CAM. I'm using version 23.12, and as you can see I haven't defined my workpiece. So let's go ahead and do that. We can come to Operation Navigator and under Geometry View, and here is the workpiece. I can right click and edit. I need to specify part, so let's go ahead and select our part. Press OK. Specify blank. Here we have few options. CAM Assist works when you define your blank as geometry, offset, or bounding block or bounding cylinder. I'm going to go with bounding block, and I'm going to press OK. Another option we have is a specify check. So here we can define global level specify check for all of the operation in NX. So I'm just going to pick the vice, the jaws, and press OK and OK again. So here we have a part defined and the stock is defined also. If I want to change the stock geometry, I can just go back, edit, click here, and then we can look at the geometry of the part. Probably we want to add a bit more volume to this stock. So let's round up the values. And 30. Maybe we can increase that to 80, and then maybe we can increase that to 40. We can also drag this arrow and position the stock, and now we have a fully defined workpiece. By going to part navigator here, we can hide the workpiece, and we can just hide this feature group, but the feature group exists, but it's just hidden in our view. Let's go back to Operation Navigator, and then let's go to Machine Tool View. Here you can see I have number of tools in this session. I can add more tools if I want. To do that, we go to Application, Manufacturing, Create Tools, and then we can retrieve tools from Library. Let's add some non-indexable end mills. We can click on this question mark, and then I can already see that I have the first 10 tools in my session. So I'm going to add these 3 tools as well, and I'm going to press OK, and then OK again. So now we have additional tools in a session as well as those that I have before, and now we are ready to program our part. I want to go to Program Order View so we can see CAM Assist outcome quickly. Let's go to CAM Assist tab. Okay, now we go to CloudNC CAM Assist, save the session, and we open the user interface. Using CAM Assist is very easy. You just need to follow few steps to make sure you have the right setup for your programming. The first choice you need to make is about machining mode. So you can decide whether you want to do 3-axis or 3+2. At any point, if you have any question, you can just click on this blue button and it opens YouTube videos that tells you more about each feature. In our project, we want to do 3-axis machining, so I'm going to pick that item and I continue my way through these tabs. The next tab is about machine, so we can set up our machine parameters, and this information comes from your NX session, so you can always go back and edit them. Let's go to Tools. In this tab, you can define the material you want to cut. For example, if you want to cut low carbon steel, you can pick that option, and then you can also select alloy. So let's say 1018. For my project, I'm just going to stick with aluminum, and I'm not going to define any alloys. Another interesting thing to do is to think about what type of tools you want to use for this project. CAM Assist comes with two sets of built-in tool libraries. The first one is built-in CAM Assist toolset, which comes of course in metric and imperial. And then you can also have built-in NX toolset, which is sub-selection of existing NX tools in your tool library. Let's pick one of these two libraries, and as you can see, our built-in CAM Assist toolset metric has 186 tools, and here it shows a quick summary of what type of tools we have for this project. However, if you remember, we said we're going to use the tools we have in session because we already added these tools. So because of that, we're going to go with the first option and use tools from session. CAM Assist imports the tool that you have in your session, and now it says there are 26 tools, and this is the breakdown of those tools. I'm quite happy with this set of tools I have, so I'm going to use this. Let's go to the next tab, Tool Usage tab. This tab helps you to look at those tools that we have in our session and to make sure all the parameters is what you like. You can review the information about each tool, like the name, tool number, the size. You can look at what type of operation each tool is allowed to be used. So let's organize our tool based on diameter, and here you can see I have two tools, ball nose end mill and ball nose end mill, and I want to use one only for roughing and the other one only for finishing. So by changing the allowed usage per tool, I can control how we're going to use the tool in this program. I also want to bring to your attention the cutting parameter aggression slider. This slider helps you to predefine the aggression level of the cutting data that we're going to assign to these tools. So you can increase productivity by dragging the slider to the right, or increase tool life by dragging the slider to the left. In any case, I decided to keep it towards tool life, and we're going to use that. Okay, let's go to the operation tab and look at few options that we have here. This tab helps you to organize the type of tool paths and operation you want to see in your final result. For example, if you don't want to see any face milling, you can turn the face milling off, and then CAM Assist exclude that from the strategy. Sometimes you might want to see minimum tool changes. So for the finishing operations, you can select that option and it minimizes the tool changes for you. There are a few more things you need to know before you run CAM Assist. The first one is about folder names. So when CAM Assist generates the program for you, it also labels each operation group. For example, it says these are the roughing operation, these are the wall operations. If you want to name them differently, for example, you want to call roughing a stage 1 and then flat as a stage 2 and wall as a stage 3, you can rename them, and then when you get the result, CAM Assist uses that naming format. Final piece of information I want to share is about toolpath generation option. So you can always ask CAM Assist to generate toolpaths for you and calculate IPWs, or you can say ask me each time. In this case, we are going to keep it as ask each time, but I'm going to say to CAM Assist to generate the toolpaths for us so we can see the result. In case you just want to see the operation first, or if your part is complex and you just want to have the initial idea of how CAM Assist can program the part, you can say don't generate the toolpaths, and then later on you can run it again with the toolpath generation option on. You can also do it yourself by going through each operation and generate them. Okay, let's go back and just remind ourselves what we are about to do. So we are going to program a 3-axis part using our tools from the session, and we're going to ask CAM Assist not to do any face milling for us. And let's press OK and see what we get. As you can see, the first thing CAM Assist asks us is, do we want to have all the toolpaths generated? And we're going to say yes. Alright, so CAM Assist completed the programming process of this part. We can see that it is already generated 19 operations and number of faces that is already machined. So I can now press OK, and we can see that this folder is now appeared in our session. It's called CAM Assist. I can just right click and expand all, and now you can see the full program. You can see the roughing folder, flat folder, wall folder, hole making and freeform, and finally deburring. And we can see all the operations. So here is the roughing operation, and we can have a look at that. It's adaptive roughing, and CAM Assist already selected one of the tools from our session to program this part. At this point, it's up to you to make any changes you want to this operation to make it the way you like to see the program. So if you use NX before, you can already use CAM Assist. Here you can see for this one, CAM Assist is using floor facing without walls. Let's have a look at the next one. This also is the same. You can see CAM Assist actually pick one of the tools we added to the session. Okay, we can also use CAM Assist to see the total machining time. Now CAM Assist suggests that this part can take almost like 20 minutes to machine. What we can do next is to look at the result and make sure it is everything we expected to see. And then I can also go to the next tab, and you can see one of the tools we added, this NX0201 tool number 12 is selected for 3 of the operation we have in this session. We can also look at our program in this way. Okay, let's go back to this operation and click on Cutting Parameter Explorer. This is another piece of our technology that helps you to fine-tune your cutting data. It is based on physics models and actuality of how you would machine a part, and it gives us the initial recommendation that we can see on my screen. And I am quite happy with this number, but just to show you, you can always change these parameters by deciding whether you want to increase tool life or increase productivity. You can also change the parameters by using these two handlebars. For example, for a spindle speed, maybe I can drag it down a bit more, and now we see the new parameters are now generated, and the new spindle speed is basically 8,400. I'm going to save this operation and then right click, generate, and now we can go to this operation, navigate to feeds and speed tab, and now we can see these parameters are all updated by CAM Assist and our cutting parameter engine, and you can see that the spindle speed now is 8400. I press OK. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you find this useful, and I see you in the next tutorial.